How was everybody's week? Anything interesting happen?
No.
If it's not interesting, then I don't know.
I just had to take a breather in the toilet.
Oh my
god, I was watching your story about your week.
To take a breather, guys. I didn't get in trouble, but like things weren't going right. But like, it wasn't necessarily my fault. There was like loads of the politically correct PG version is. There's loads of things that were just going to make, but because it was under my department, it was like they came to me and like obviously she was explaining her kind of grievances and stuff like that, and I was just taking it in. I'd already had a shit week, so I was just like, okay. After she was gone, I just packed myself up. I went to the toilet. What's it called? You can just hear sniffles in the toilet. But you know when you just like, I just needed to get. It was actually a long week, so I just need to get it out of my system. And then obviously, blow my I was actually being loud. I was like, blow my nose. I was just there. I was just like, okay, prep myself, whatever. I know there's people in the toilet that definitely heard me. Whatever, cool. I leave.
Oh, good.
I go to my desk.
It's needed sometimes.
I go to my desk and then my colleague comes up to me. She's just like, by the way, like I understand that it was a little bit hard. And I was like, I know for a fact she was in the toilet and heard the sniffles.
That's what she came
but I was like,
that.
I appreciate it. What's it called? You heard that? There were dying times and you just came and it was like rub your leg. It's okay. But it was just a long week. Like I wasn't even all work. But when it's just like, this is just a long week. And when the episode
I was gonna say,
I hope you know
this is an episode
that just took me to like
Mars. Like
I just said okay. And I just said I just need to complete this now. So I just didn't sleep,
guys.
and it was my fault to be fair, but I had so much had happened that week. Like it was actually the last of my concerns. So when that came back up, I was like,
well,
Misha, you'll get the episode. It's out today.
It's out.
So, is it?
Well, it's out
with
today.
no title.
It will be out.
It's out, man. It's out.
It will be out.
Because out with no
It's
title.
not out yet, but it will be out.
It will be there. It will be there.
Sure.
So good. I get updates from Reddit sometimes. I know just like you do get like notifications. And it was
Yeah, you see, but it's not about anything interesting.
And I was like, I sabotaged my uncle's life, and now he has nothing.
I know you were snickering. But she told us that she had a hard I'm sorry. I was just thinking, what is she laughing about? But anyway.
Sorry, it's the comment.
Do you feel better? Or do you still feel...
No, today was a long week. Like, I'm glad
Today was a long week. It's a Friday.
English.
No,
It's-
but a work week is a work week, Like
It's been
today
a long
was a long
week. Sorry, that
By the way,
sentence didn't
today-
make sense.
I know what you meant,
But
it's
you know
calm.
what I meant. But yeah, it was a long week.
Is
So
that
I'm
what
just
you
like
said?
ready to... Jimmy, shut up. I'm just ready to...
We have a party tomorrow night.
Yes, I do actually. And I have my outfit and everything.
Yeah,
So I'm
your
quite
heels.
excited. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
some new heels. A mini black dress and like tights. Like that's
Love
the kind
that.
of vibe that I'm going for. So...
Anyway.
Do you know what? Yeah,
excited.
then Jimmy will now come in like 2 episodes and say that she's always the victim.
Exactly, because bear in mind.
She knows
It's
she's
like
the victim, by the way.
Because
Anyway.
But yeah, that was my week. That's all I got to say. Great areas.
At least
I
it's
cried in
understand.
the work toilet. That's what I did. So,
It happens. I haven't done it yet, but I know it's coming soon. Like,
You can just-
I know it's coming. I can feel it. It's on the horizon.
But yeah. Anyone else?
Jimmy is in her own world.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Because
Mama?
I have nothing to share, really and truly.
Yeah, I do, actually. I feel like I have a lot to say all of a sudden. English, these past few weeks. Oh my god, it's actually so quiet in here. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. You want me to sing this? I'm like,
No, go away. Okay, so, my heart's beating fast when I announced this. It's actually not that deep. Well, on Monday, I got my ADHD diagnosis. That was
Hey, love that for you. Congratulations, man. Guys, it's not easy, by the way. Sorry,
It's not.
but it's actually not easy. to get that
It was
diagnosis.
actually easy for me.
Really?
Oh, she said,
How did
not
you
me.
Let me tell you why. Because I got kicked off. Basically, what happened was... Guys, if I tell you a story, let me tell you exactly what happened. So, first, I tried to go... two things were happening at the same time. So, first, I went through the NHS, and that was just like, you do the first screening questionnaire, and then they put you on the waiting list to give them, like, all the documents. Like, there's a couple of documents you have to do yourself, and then someone also has to do one on behalf of you. So I went that way. Then I also went private at the same time. So I did like, I had to fill in a form, and then someone else that knew me had to fill in the form. I filled in my form, and then the other form, I kind of dilly-dallied on giving that back to them. And they were just like, oh, so it's been 6 months, so you actually are going to get kicked off. So I got kicked off the private way. And then...
It took you over 6 months to give back the form.
Sorry.
Hello?
Can someone open the door for me, please?
Hey,
We should leave her there.
she tried. Though. She tried.
She did.
Oh, she actually cut
Yeah,
down time for
she
real.
did.
Okay, what speed were you doing?
Let's get on camera. Bye.
LOL, because don't incriminate yourself.
Anyway, I'll get distracted. Like I'll lose my train of thought if I don't speak. So then, what happened after that? Yeah, so it just took me 6 months, and then basically at the same time, so then they had given me back the forms for the NHS way. To be honest, my mum completed it, and it took me like 2 years to give it back to them, and they kicked me off that.
Thank you.
So actually, maybe it wasn't hello.
How are ya?
Hey guys.
Sorry.
Hi.
Is the clip in the back of your head?
It's just Sunday. Look at fresh face.
like
Look at
this.
that life.
Like,
Yeah.
I came like, I was like, you have to get serious. So when you're driving and I was driving, so.
So it's the fact that
Very
even the clip is
nonsensical.
just, it's still,
Like
still-
no grip, no ponytail,
Clipping keys, just
no nothing, no nothing.
Anyway, sorry, as you were saying, 2
Yeah.
years.
So upon consideration, maybe it wasn't easy. Maybe it's all the time that I delayed that made it seem like it was quick.
but you
Because
actually just took
basically,
forever.
what happened after that is they definitely kicked me off the waiting list again.
Oh, for.
Oh yeah, I got
She got
my
ADHD
diagnosis this Monday
Oh, wow.
after like 4 years, by the way.
No, because I was thinking, I swear
Help.
the
Well, because I was thinking, was it the offer that was supposed to be the form?
Anyway, so then what happened after that? Yeah, that was the private one that I got kicked off. And then what happened after that? Sorry, I'm making the story more confusing than it needs to be. So then, cool. So okay, this is exactly what happened. So yeah, got kicked off. No, private got kicked off. That some time ago, like a year ago. Public, NHS, sorry. So I had given I got the forms back, gave them to my mom. She gave them back to me. It took me like 2 years to actually give it back to them. I gave it to them like 3 weeks ago. And then I called the lady to say, oh, I've given the form. She said they definitely like kicked you off. But they said that as soon as you give it to them, you can go back on the list. I said, cool, no problem. Then she literally called me that day. She was like, oh yeah, we can give you an appointment like in 2 weeks. And I said, okay,
That's nice.
fair.
Yeah.
So here we is. And that was such a boring. That was so boring. It was so boring,
It's
guys.
not. It was
No,
real.
it's
That's
not,
real
it
life,
was
no?
like
sorry.
how did
Continue the
the
story.
test go? Like,
Oh, sorry. Then, like, it's boring. There's
How was
nothing.
the test?
How-
What happened in the test?
tell us,
What did
yeah.
they tell you?
Oh, like, how do you feel?
yeah,
Like,
like
the
how
diagnosis?
did the stages work actually in
Yeah.
terms of like after you go for the testing and they say yes?
To be honest, I'll be so real with you. When the woman was explaining, I was really listening. But
I told you.
what happened? It was all very blase. Like it was an hour and 30. We definitely overran because I was a bit confused by some of her line of questioning, to be honest. But anyway, she just asked me like, "Is the blase?" Okay, sorry, I'm not explaining this well at all. I got diagnosed with inattentive and hyperactive. So the way that the test is set up is there are different sections, right? So it's about your childhood. You have to have symptoms present from like 12 years old and onwards, I believe. So they ask you about that kind of period, like, oh, how was your childhood? Did you exhibit any symptoms? How was your social life? And how was your like academic life? So they ask you like childhood, and then they also English. They also ask you as an adult, like, what are your social life like? And your day-to-day life, like how do you think, if you think you have ADHD, how do you think that's affecting you? So they ask you questions like that. But I think it's just, again, like I said, inattentive. They're looking for inattentive symptoms, and they're also looking for hyperactive. You can have one or the other, or you can have combined.
To the people out there.
The truth of the matter is I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm not going to tell you everything verbatim. You have to do your research. But because before someone comes and says, I said this and I said, but essentially from my understanding, like hyperactivity, how do I explain it? Like, you know what people think ADHD is? Like, that's more like white boy jumping off the walls. Yeah. That is what hyperactivity can be. Like, it can be that, but it can also be present like in your brain. I think that's how I present as far as I understand. Because when she was asking me stuff, I was like, for me, I have difficulty with resting. Like, I find it really difficult to just shut down completely. Like, I'll dilly-dally, like, I'll be on my phone for, like, hours, or I'll walk around, or I'll go, like, and bath if I'm meant to be sleeping. Like, I'll just do any good old thing. And my mind is also, like, always on the go. There's, like, 4 different things happening at once. There could be a song, there could be a memory that's haunted me from, like, a year ago. I could be talking, I could be thinking about, like, a tree. Like, my brain is always going. And also in my body as well, I'd say as well, which... I think that's also more inattentive as well. I have issues with that. Like, I'm also absent-minded, so I like fall into things. Like, I have a massive burn. I had a big burn here because like I dropped like salmon into oil because I wasn't paying attention. I have like a scar here because I banged like my bed when I was younger. I have a scar on my stomach. Anyway, you get the you get the gist. Like, so yeah, so there's many. It's complex. It's complex. It's my brain. But you can have two things at once. Basically, you can be hyperactive. Like, you know, everyone knows what hyperactive is, right? Yeah, like in your body, in your brain.
Next one as well.
Pardon.
What's the next one?
Inattentive. Inattentive. Well, I was like, you don't pay attention, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, absent-minded, not really with us, looking out the windows, because that's what
That's
yeah.
what the slow freeze.
Yes, exactly. Slow freeze. Yes. Slow freeze. Because I'm a slow processor. Because my brain is
I wasn't even saying like the shady way.
no, it's okay. I am a slow processor. Because my brain is elsewhere a lot of the times, it means that, you know, I'm not really with us. Yeah, it can take a minute for me to process things. But yeah, she just told me that, she said, oh no, how do you feel after, oh God, I was so bored. I don't know what I was basically sleeping. But she said, oh, how do you feel? And I said like, I feel fine, because I already processed this like 3 years ago. I'm just here for the meds. Give me the drugs. No, I'm joking. Even so, like, I've been thinking, because she said, yeah, like, oh, so what route do you want to go down? Do you want to do like a more of a counselling, or do you want to get medication? And I said, the problem is, like, I say all of that to say I actually don't know. Because before I, like, 2-3, so uni was when I was thinking, something is not adding up. Like, this is not a normal trajectory of uni. Like, I cannot focus. I can't do anything. Like, I was pushing my assignments. There's a difference between pushing your assignments last minutes and what we were doing. Yeah, I say we because Op and I.
No, because I just made it. I just made it. I can't
by like the skin of my teeth.
I know.
The skin of my teeth. Like, I could be doing, guys, I would do my assignment like on the day off. Like, I can't, like I would do coursework that would be due in like 11 hours. I would just raw dog it. I don't know how we did it. Well, what happened?
We were so bad for each other.
We were terrible. It was terrible. Why do you think I had to take a year out? I had to take a year out because I was burnt out of just doing nonsense. But so I already knew that something was wrong back then. So I'd already done like the research, watched a lot. Like, social media really did help me. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. What's wrong?
I have a headache. So
sorry, drink water. Sorry, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Drink water.
But I'm going there.
No, I have my Stanley. Do you want some out of it?
Oh no, it's okay. Thank you.
Sorry, dear. Continue. This is very important.
There's a lot of misinformation out there, but social media, guys, all of, you know, social media really did help me. So I knew from there, like, doing all the research, even finding out was like paternal side, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I already knew.
Finding out what?
Like, sorry, I'm not explaining that properly. They say, again, don't quote me, do your own research. The ADHD can be like from your paternal side.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. So I already knew in my head, like,
this is
what it was. It's just like, yeah, the medication. So she said you could go down the medication way or counselling. And now, to be honest, what I wanted originally, I don't really know what I want anymore, because she said you can't stop and start.
Christian, if you stop the medication, does it have to be for a set period of time?
You can't stop and start.
You can't stop and start. Like, I don't know. No, of course I think you can stop, but it's not that simple. Like, I think even to start, it's gonna be like a phase thing. It's not like they're just gonna give you all the drugs, and there's multiple different types of medication you can take. I believe.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a whole trial and error on your brain.
Daniela, because she does educational psychology, and a lot of the time they give some of the kids.
Do they give you like stimulants?
That's what Lynette's children took. Lynette took on Desperate Housewives, but it made her do everything instead of. She didn't give it to her children. She took it instead.
Yeah, as drugs.
So she has stuff to do, like,
And she needed to, like,
I don't remember, but
you can take, like, obviously we call it Alvans, I think, but you can just take like the ADHD
medication just in general.
So she can have like energy to do bare.
Yeah, she was like doing stuff at the school, doing stuff with the family.
Yes, I remember that episode.
I'm gonna watch it again.
I've watched it too many times now.
Why Women Kill is so good.
Did you watch season 2?
Please, let's not talk about it.
No, stop. I don't trust you.
Because something will actually slip up. Because bear in mind, she ruined The Good Place for me. Like, so yes, she actually, and that is crazy.
Okay. That's you can leave it there.
Okay.
Because
Okay, what
let's
should
Wait,
end
that's what
it.
season 2 was crap.
Oh,
Season two
guys,
was
let's
good.
stop. Let's
Okay,
actually
so
stop
what's
because
season
you'll
two?
lead to me.
Well,
I shall just go
I'll
and.
watch it, but let's leave this.
Just because I spoiled the good place, like.
Do you know how wild
crazy
that
though.
is?
crazy.
That is
crazy.
But that's one of the
wild.
things that you really need to be there for the journey.
Bro,
Otherwise,
and bearing in mind, I had
I'm
almost
happy she
finished
sent
the
me. She
season.
spoiled it because I was not. If I got to the end and I found out that's where it was, I would have been.
Exactly.
Angry.
Just
Some of the
Stimulant.
kids react really well, and some of the kids
You
feel like
could go
it's like,
badly.
They said that it takes away like. They feel like they're a zombie. Then some kids are like it's really helpful.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all that suits. And then there's also that part. Hey, oh my god, what's wrong with me? Sorry.
Nothing.
I ask myself that all the time.
Guys,
Okay.
I promise you like it.
Oh my God.
I promise, okay.
We do, we really do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
back to
I'm
what
so
I was
sorry.
saying is
sorry, I'm
that
tired.
sorry.
And Jamina's the
Also,
victim.
there is the added part where, also, I never said this on the pod. I'm also autistic, so there is that part of.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's wrong with
I'm so sorry. I'm tired. I'm actually sorry.
You're not tired. You slept enough.
I am actually drowsy.
You've taken a nap.
You wake up.
You
What's wrong
slept.
with you?
I'm awake.
Anyway, use the toilet off
No,
her.
just finish the story.
Um,
No, but go back to send it. Okay.
Yeah,
But I, feel
I
like
guess.
Okay, so
What? Sorry. Go on.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, what was I going with that? Oh yeah, there's also the fact that people did say that when they took ADHD medication, the autistic traits, because it suppressed one side, like it made the other worse. And to be honest, I didn't care to try that out, but I don't know. So basically, I'm in two minds right now. That's why I'm really going with this. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I wish I could stop and start. That would be great, so that I can know what's
But
going
you
on.
actually can't.
But then, to be honest, sometimes like yesterday, I was just feeling like I'm actually on the edge. Like I could do those meds though. So I don't know anymore. I need to think. I'd probably make a
You
decision.
don't have to do it like instantly. Like you actually have time to think about it and process it. So
Do I have that much time? There's definitely a waiting list for medication, I think. But yeah.
Private too.
yeah, but you might as well use the time
n-
they want to make this because it's not like they're gonna force you to take it.
yeah.
True.
So like, get the time you can go and get your consults, etc., etc. Because I'd say it's better to be on the waiting list. Sorry, not to waste the NHS's resources, but I'd say it's better to be on the waiting list. And
Yeah,
then
that should not be on
than not be.
it.
Yeah.
It's true.
I would say no.
It's true.
But yeah, just it was a thing.
But I'm happy you got a
Think about
diagnosis
it,
though.
Yeah.
It can make life easier sometimes. Sure. Oh, well, Oppa's gone, so she can't share how her week was.
Yeah. Anyways,
Okay,
let's continue.
Hattie, episode.
Oh yeah, there actually is an episode. That's crazy.
Your
Okay,
episode.
so because it's actually
Mind
mad.
you, she was
So.
banging on about. I would like you to be here so we can do
What time? Let's
Yeah,
talk
but
about-
it's, you know the
about
thing is about me, like I'm passionate at certain points, and then like I come down from that passion.
Okay, well, you better
Get
climb
back
back
Oh,
up.
sorry, because
My type.
Savvy
Jameen
girl. Oh, sorry.
is the biggest instigator to ever like.
no, let's just wait for Ope because
Cross
Ope,
this-
you know what? Ope's gonna
cross this
introduce
bridge.
the grey area, and then we're gonna start.
What's the great? She's the great area fatty.
Oh, okay.
Close your chest.
Because we like each other, we promise.
People are what people are paying for.
What?
It's not a
That's what you
That's
That's so funny.
Thank you.
Exactly. It's why it was
Not
bad
part of
price,
the bride price, but
Hello, welcome back to the grey area. The grey area, excuse you. Anyways, the grey area is just the grey area.
that's what it is. It is.
Nobody wants to work today, guys.
Yeah.
No, because by the way,
Friday blues.
Bearing in mind, you
Like,
had
have you
energy
made
last
up
Friday.
your whole
To
new
me, you
thing?
were the campaigner of
Fridays.
Fridays.
My one was actually.
No, I was
Oh,
a secondary. But it was
really?
What is
I was
Friday
a
blues?
secondary,
Like,
your
what
family.
did you just make
You
that
know, like,
up?
after Friday, you finish work.
Yeah, most people are elated because it's the weekend, but okay.
Yeah, by the way,
Yeah,
thank
so-
God this
no,
Friday,
it's
and that's the
more
whole
like,
thing.
Glory. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Why are you trying to
It's
recoin?
my voice, it's my voice.
Why are you
Puff
trying to
puff.
recoin things that have already
It's a
been
puff puff
coined?
for real.
Doesn't make
Anyway.
sense.
Well, I
Don't
guess
forget
that's the
the
grey
dodo.
area then, according to
Because
Sha.
It is
Oh.
the grey area.
grey area. Okay.
Define
Why-
it
why-
yourself. Define it for yourself.
No, we can't speak to them like that.
As in
I speak to her,
in a
I want to
loving way.
No, shut up. What are you talking about?
I'm joking, guys.
But anyways,
Adi,
Anyway,
take it away.
What's
oh,
your-
now I actually am nervous. No, actually, no, I'm fine. Okay,
what's there to be nervous about?
you don't know what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's not serious. Anyway,
His shoulders are moving.
no, but I had a whole. Anyway, basically, what I was going to speak about is
What's that English? again?
religion.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm joking. Well, we never actually spoke about it altogether, kind of in passing, yes, but not in the way that I plan to speak about it today. It gets the nitty gritty. Okay, that really hurt. Anyway, so basically, I was inspired to speak about this from this lady. Her name is called
Simply.
Oh, really? You don't know me that well. So I'm trying to guess what I'm
I was
doing.
going to say, like, I thought.
I'm sorry.
what
Did
she
you not
did.
bring it?
I didn't. I'm tired.
Sorry,
But anyway, let's
you
just
were
go.
correct.
Sorry. Why do you think that?
Is anyone ready to record?
Because you
Sorry.
said her point before.
Are we ready to do this?
I swear. I
You
don't
told
remember all
me
the things
about
I've
because
said.
in uni you said this point before, and then I was like, oh, Ashley said that, and then when you said
When the
we
clip
talk about
came
religion, I was
up.
like, oh, she's probably gonna say simply Shayo, and I was right.
Huh. The more you know. I don't be remembering all the stuff I say. Okay, well, you do. It seems you do know me well. So
You would
anyway,
think.
yeah, it's true. You've known each other for like within 10 years. But anyway, yeah. So basically, there is a YouTuber called. Well, she has a podcast now called Simply Shayo, and she was reminiscing on her days of podcasting before with her co-host Wumi Bello, and I don't know Priscilla's last name, but from Love Island, and they were speaking about how they spoke about religion on their old podcast and just kind of revisiting the stuff that they spoke about. Yeah. And basically, Shai was saying that she identifies as an atheist and doesn't really agree with the concept of religion because she believes that it serves as a self-soothing device. And Wumi basically was retorting back to her and saying that she doesn't classify herself as a religious person or as a Christian in that sense. Like, she has a relationship with God and she thinks that, like, it's a faith, it's a relationship, it's not a religion. So they were kind of going back and forth on that point for, well, what I saw anyway. I didn't finish it. And I found that kind of interesting, the point of the self-soothing aspect and then also the aspect of Christianity not being a religion and being more of a relationship. And yeah, I just wanted to open that to the floor. Like, so why am I making it so formal? What? Why?
No, I don't know. It reminded me of something, but I just can't remember what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I was curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Like, do you agree with either side? And I think that also I wanted to say, because I feel like when it's my episode, sometimes I end up being like an invigilator. But I wanted to give my opinion before I give it to y'all. Why are you guys laughing at me, bro?
This is a Friday
You guys keep in mind, some people
Friday
were
is
actually
upon us.
fighting for you.
Sorry.
Mine one seems very awake and alert.
I'm literally.
You seem
girl.
you no, and Jenna's eyes are basically half closed.
I'm awake.
It's okay, don't worry.
Jameen was the biggest campaigner for Friday.
You
This
have
is
what?
what's killing me.
Like, no, because that's what I'm not getting.
Yeah.
The thing is, Jameen only wants to record when she's in the meeting.
Exactly.
Oh.
There's
There's no time. There's no time we're gonna give Jameen.
I'm physically
to record.
here.
It's gonna be.
I'm physically here.
Oh, and Oppa's eyes
They
are
didn't
red.
jump out of my house.
His eyes are
Okay,
red.
we're trying. I take
Oh my
the
God,
floor, take the
because
floor.
Oppa's eyes are actually red. Anyways,
Anyways, continue.
so you just pop your Panadol in the car.
No, but
Oh, I feel like it's always rubbish. Everyone always wants to be. Everyone always wants to be.
Oh yeah,
so
take the
You
floor.
floor.
Hey, you will flog me. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it. I'm just gonna. Tommy, keep some.
But how can you do that?
You don't even have to touch it. It's just more like we need to hear you.
Do we?
We're not hearing you.
No, I'm joking. We
Yeah,
do.
Because we all like each other. By the way, that's the consensus of this.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
I told you I'm the victim.
Oh, shut up! No, I will not stand for that. Ati, take the floor, please.
Shay has been waxing in the back like 4 times. She told me to hurry the hell up.
This
Oh my
is sorry.
God.
This is the same person that was saying, guys.
Okay. Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm feeling the energy of the room.
Everyone's gonna.
I'm feeling the energy of the room.
It's my energy not cussing. Let
Energy.
Okay. Okay.
She's
And
the real.
the truth of the matter is, I forgot. What? You told me to hurry up. You basically imprinted your hand in my back, and now you're.
I said.
No, sorry.
okay.
No, sorry.
It was just a battle you were doing yesterday last time. Go.
The truth of the matter is, I forgot my point. Okay, no. Okay, yeah. So I was gonna say that, it's fun that I had a whole thing to say. Yeah, I agree with Shayo. I definitely believe that religion is somewhat of a tool, somewhat or completely a tool to self-soothe. I would say that I don't really understand the semantics of if Christianity is a religion or not. I think that Christianity can be two things at once. It can be a religion and it can also be a relationship, because based on the definition of what a religion is, that is about doctrines, it's about rules. I think that there's nuance, I think there's conviction and things of that nature, but there also are rules. And word to Maiwa, words do mean something. So I do think that if we're talking about definitions, there is a definition that Christianity comes under religion. Hey God, let me started. Comes under a religion, but it can also be a relationship. So I think two things can be true at once. I don't really see why they're kind of going back and forth about that. But I definitely do believe a lot with what Shio said. I'd say that because I was really thinking about what she said, and like I'd say that when I was definitely like, you know, Christian, I was in the faith and stuff, I was really comforted by a lot of what the Bible says. You know what I mean? Like the world right now, very, very bad things are happening worldwide. Like we know this. I mean, I hope we know this. And I'd say that like, obviously like in the Bible, the fact that like God has, you know, plans for you, he has steps for you, the verses and everything, like I found that comforting. I found the communal aspect also comforting. Like when you don't know what's actually going on plainly in front of you, like you have your faith. Do you know what I mean? I'd say that when I was deconstructing especially, there was something that really stuck with me. There's this comedian podcaster, Brittany Broski, and she was saying that she was a Christian, she was in the church, I think she's like from the South and stuff, and she was saying that something that really stuck with her is that, something stuck with me, that she said is that she envies the hopeful. And I said, word, because like with Christianity and having a faith, like whatever, not even just Christianity, but like having something that you hold on to, it can be very comforting, and the aspect of like community as well can also be very grounding. So that's why specifically, like I definitely identified with what Shia was saying. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Anybody else?
Do you know what's in my head?
Something.
Paraku! Ibele! Obele! What's up? But
This has to touch me after. Okay, yeah,
I'm trying to.
Are you
feeling? Sorry, I'm trying to say something back because that's so stupid. I think Christianity is a religion. Yeah, because by definition, that's what a religion is. When you fill out a form, it says religion and there's Christianity, Islam. The form,
it actually comes under.
Let's be honest with ourselves. I understand what she was trying to say, but I think she was trying to like, she wasn't actually. She wasn't getting to the point. It's a religion, but yes, the religion is about a relationship with God. I think that's just what it is. The South Sea Empire. I think there was what's it called? There was a thing. I can't remember the man's name.
Philosopher.
Yeah, there was a philosopher.
I'm Freud said it as well. But I think it was like Aquinas, but I don't know who.
It was philosophy in 13 or something.
Because he spoke about it before.
And the guy was basically like, at the end of the day, Christianity is just it's basically because for people that don't, religion in general actually, he said that it's for people that don't like people that can't accept
reality.
Yeah, death. That's what it was. But then again, I don't agree, because I just feel like at the end of the day, I feel like the Western world, I think the problem with it is that they use a lot of rationality to try and like sort things out. I think that's what it is. So they try to use 1 + 1. This is where I'm going to put this. This doesn't make sense to me, so it can't be true. I think a lot of people try to lean on their own. Like, I don't say understanding because, yeah, it's the Bible quite. But like, I feel like a lot of people try to like figure things out with their actual like mind. Yeah. And I think sometimes they forget that because it kind of like a lot of the times it's like the Western world it's mainly the Western world that's not really religious. It's mainly like the what's the word, African Eastern that have like religion, and I think there's a reason for that. And I think it could also, some people would say that it's down to basically basic economics. You know, people in Western world have more, you know, money, so they're fine, and then other people have hope. They need hope, because if they don't have hope, what's left? But I do believe that there's also a spiritual side of like the world, life, and I think that the mistake that a lot of the times people in the Western world make with like the rationality is that they forget that there is a spiritual side of the world, and because there's a spiritual side, I don't think that people can just ignore the whole religion and all of that jazz. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's the new ages or new age. Like, I feel like how to explain that? Like, if you want to go to Nigeria and say, oh, what's the word? Kill somebody for me. They're gonna kill them. Do you get what I'm saying? But like, so they're not gonna go to their house and physically like kill them. They can use juju and kill the person. Juju is not a physical. Do you get? It's not rationality. It's
not science.
It's not science based. It's literally you get spirituality based or whatever. So I think that there is that thing that sometimes I think it escapes the Western world because it's not really in our face like that, and so I think sometimes it's like I don't know. I understand the point of like the self-soothing, because at the end of the day, if you don't have hope, what do you really have? Because I feel like it can be kind of sad. Because even if without religion, like I think it's always good to be a hopeful person. Do you get like things will always to
work out.
Everything has to always work out, and even if it's not religious, even if it's what's the word, I feel like even if you're doing tarot cards or whatever, like I feel like everybody at the end of the day, everybody is trying to just figure out hope. It's literally hope that things will get better for them. I'm saying a lot because I'm also saying nothing. But
I get the gist of what you're saying.
What's the called? I'm everywhere. But I feel like
That was a liar.
Sorry.
Because my head is pounding. I was thinking, this is one of my most passionate topics.
This is the first thing.
Wipe your eyes and strive and power through.
The other thing that actually kind of triggers me a lot, though, actually, I will say, is people. What's the word?
I'm sorry, I forget what my women and I.
So
I'm engaging.
It's okay. I think the other thing that triggers me is a lot that people try to blame the bad things that happen on like God. I would say. I think there's what's the word? Like this is the thing where like even me sometimes I'm a little bit like I don't get. If I'm being honest, I'll be honest. I'll be great. Even I don't get. But the thing I do understand, like the thing what's the word? How can I explain this? Based on what's the word, like someone's out to get you as well. Sorry, like do you get what I'm saying? Like because someone's also out to get you. So I think that also is a part in things. But at the same time, like I said, it's a thing.
It's nuanced.
Because until it comes knocking at your front door, then you think
it's all very nuanced.
Yeah.
So I actually saw something the other day actually on TikTok, and this girl was like, "Oh, where was your God Christians?" She was like, "Where was your God Christians when people were getting dragged into slavery?" And then I think the girl clapped back by saying, like, by the way, the God that they were serving when they were dragged into slavery wasn't the Christian God. So I think sometimes that triggers me. I can't lie. Like it's what's the word? I feel like sometimes people want to place blame on the Christian God. Do you get what I'm saying? It's only the Christian God people want to place blame on. In my opinion, that's the real God. But I just feel like everybody, do you get what I'm saying? Is always so focused on Christianity, and that kind of pisses me off. I think that's what it is. It's not more like what I said before. It's just more like I feel like everyone wants to place blame on the Christian God, and if you're like atheist, why is the Christian God your problem? Why not the Muslim God? I don't understand.
Well, I feel like
why would it be this?
I feel like they did have.
If they were atheists, then there would be no God. No,
like not if agnostic.
But I know what you're saying in terms of like the general conversation always centers around
the Christian God. It's never about any other.
Yeah, which I hear, but. Sorry, actually.
No, sorry.
I was going to say, like, during the time with, like, 9/11 and stuff like that, when that happened, the Islamophobia and, like, the hatred towards the Muslim religion was high. Even now, I said we, as if I'm in New York. New York just got a new...
Afghanistan, guys! Hey, he's a great New Yorker.
Yeah, Muslim mayor, and everyone is still, like... let's just say Asian mayor, but everyone is now associating him with 9/11 and in turn... associating him with the Muslim and Islamic God, and just basically saying like Islamophobic and disgusting rhetoric towards that. And I feel like Muslim people actually got it for like no, you're talking about
Muslim people still getting now.
No, they still get it, but I'm saying like it was like it's not just
I don't think it's like
Christianity.
I think it's more like I don't know how to explain.
But that's their practice and their religion.
I understand what you're both. I think what Jamie's trying to say is like people can be more blatant about their distaste for the Christian God, and it will be just like, do you know what I'm saying? Like people can dress up as a nun for Halloween as a sexy nun, or just do like a sexy pope, or make fun of Christianity, and in the workspace or like in every other space, it's okay. But we all know like.
If you dare,
or try to do that, you're not going to do that. Of course, they still get hate and stuff like that, but it's just like it's not as tolerated. It's like oh yeah, like you can just make fun of it
Do
or
you get what I'm
mock it
saying?
and stuff like
everyone
that.
always says, "Oh Jesus, Jesus, Jesus."
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you
but
can
no
just
one
do
ever says
stuff like
Muhammad.
that.
Even the Muslims
But
say
is
Jesus.
it because Christianity is also like cultural as well? Like it's not just like a religion. Like if you go, for example, the South and stuff like that, it's culturally also Christian and like religious. So that also plays a part in terms of their language. Like South America, like Texas, like culturally it's more religious or more conservative. So that also plays a role in the language and stuff that's used. It's not just
even if you go
like,
to like Nigeria, most places in Nigeria, like and no, like it's very normal to be like God bless or like praise God. Like if something happens, like it's just it's in their lexicon naturally. Even when you find out they're not religious, but like you said, it's cultural.
Yeah,
like,
I
do
think
you know
that's
what I mean?
That
So it's just
makes
like it becomes a normal thing. It becomes like a normal standard. I was gonna say kind of like back to what I was talking about initially. So I was talking about it before, but like I'm agnostic,
always
right?
straight past.
So I think for what
No, because you said back to the point. I said as usual we've gone.
jumped. No,
but anyway,
but-
it's good. That's the whole point.
Yeah, no. So yes, I'm agnostic, and I think I got to this point through. I think I've always been somebody who has a lot of questions, and I'm very comfortable with not knowing things. I've always been comfortable with not knowing things. I think that, especially in the nature of like the field I work in, like as a techie, you're always taught like you are never gonna know everything, and you need to be very comfortable knowing that because it's the only way you can grow. Like if you get big headed and you get confident, and you think you have all the answers to everything. Like that's when you start to fail in tech in it. So I think that's why I kind of suit my field. I'm very comfortable like acknowledging that I don't know things, and like growing up in the church, I think I was always the person who had like questions. I was like, so why was that? And then it was always just like, oh, like God will give you an answer. And I'm like, yeah, but like you are 40 years older than me. Has God not given you the answer yet? No. Okay, so why's God giving me the answer as like a 10-year-old girl? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not saying that God wouldn't give me an answer at 10. I'm just saying that why can't you, why can't you give me some insight or something like that? And so I just like found myself consistently moving through church with like all these questions and having no answers. And it wasn't, like I said, I'm comfortable not knowing things, but it was that everybody expected me to just put it down to
just vibes, just vibes.
It's nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just vibes, exactly like
It's
that.
just
I think like
vibes.
obviously
It'll come to you when it comes to you,
there was the
basically.
typical conversations of like, okay, but what about the wars? What about the illnesses? What about da da da? And everyone just being like, you're never going to understand that, and me being like, okay, we can say that, but then I'm also like, I really enjoy social sciences, for example, as much as I enjoy like the physical and natural sciences. So I think for me, like, I find science comforting because scientists admit they don't know things. They can say, I don't know the root cause of this thing, but from what we have seen, we know that this. And if you say, okay, like, but the creation of the world doesn't make sense, they're going to say, yeah, it doesn't make sense, but we're still finding out more as we go along. Whereas like when I'll be in church and I'll ask, okay, cool, so like, why is it that Eve came from Adam's rib? Okay, but it's just that God wanted women to come after man. I guess, but like, why is that? And then in saying that, why now can I give birth to a man? Like, I just always had questions. I've always been like that. My brain's always been like that. And once again, I'm cool with people not knowing, but I just think that there was never any comfort in not knowing it. Always just putting it down to like vibes. I was like, I don't know if I like that. And I think with the is Christianity religion, it is a religion, but I think what I found interesting about what Wumi was saying, and this is not to go and put a title on anyone, but I think I remember saying for years, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And I get to a point where I was like, I very much believe in like there being a possibility, because by the way, there's a difference between being an atheist and being agnostic, by the way. An atheist is somebody who absolutely believes or doesn't believe in God. Like, there's no God, there's no greater being, there's no nothing. We are all here on this earth as we are. And then agnostic is like, as like what I am is, there could be, but there also could not be. So I don't live my life assuming either or. I'm just like, I take life as it is, right? And I think that I agree that religion is self-soothing. And I've been asked before, like, okay, so how do I decide how to do the right thing? How do I decide, like, how do I find hope or whatever? And I've always said that, like, I find hope in humanity. Like, I believe that in my lifetime, I can fill hope up with knowing that I can at least do something that makes, like, even one person's life a little bit better. That's just how I find hope. Like, I don't think that hope needs to be me believing that after I die, there is a place up or down for me. I don't think that hope needs to be me believing that, like, me as an individual, I'm going to end or change this thing with, like, the power of tongue or anything like that. I just think that I hold on to hope knowing that, like, I have a lot of faith in humanity. Once again, it might not be in my lifetime, but I do what I can as I can do it. Same with morality. I have always, listen, I've had a lot of interest. I love a lot of things. Same way I've always really enjoyed, like, Greek and Roman mythology is the same way that I've always enjoyed reading the Bible. Like, I've always loved it. I've always found that there are great lessons to be learned. There are great stories that are being told. And I don't think that it's a text that should be dismissed just because you aren't religious. I will say that. The same way that, like, I would hear about, like, even now I'm currently reading about Buddhism and like the Hindu gods and I'm also learning more about like Ifa and like Orisha within Yoruba culture. So I genuinely believe that like I can take a lesson from anywhere. I believe that I can learn right and wrong from anywhere. And my right and wrong doesn't need to necessarily be attributed to like a set of rules within one given book. It can be down to how I'm making any individual feel. Like I hit someone's car the other day, guys. Like what day was it? I went to One Way or Seeker, maybe? No, because there's a point to this, I promise. I went to like One Way or Seeker or whatever. And it wasn't like a deep hit. It was just like, you know, when like it's a small light scratch.
Yeah.
Cool. I've gotten out of my car now because I've heard it and I'm like, nah, it's cool. Then the car alarm went off and I said, nah, I did hit that car. So I'm now going to park my car. And my friend was in the car too. And I was like, okay, cool, let me go check the damage that I've done. So I've looked at my car first. I'm like, this is so minimal. Like, I wouldn't have even noticed this. Gone to the car now. Once I've wiped off the dust, I'm like, there's nothing there. Like, there's literally nothing there. Now, I could have, once again, as an agnostic who, honestly, like, I'm going to move around, living my life. What's anything to me, really and truly? I could have been like, okay, cool, Ed. Like, I don't know. Especially knowing that it was like very minimal damage. The car alarm had gone off. I said, there's no more sound. I said, I can go into Seeker. Was it Seeker? I don't know, One Way maybe. Live my life, shake a little leg, go back home. But like I said, like for me, like empathy guides a lot of my decisions as well. I think that if it was me, even if the scratch is minimal, it would just be nice to have someone be like, okay, cool, it's like £100 for minor paint work. I would still appreciate £100. You know what I mean? Even if it's not a big deal, it's just like would be nice to give to somebody. So cool. There was a girls A class. Put my phone number on the thing. I said, sorry, I scratched your car. 3-4 days went by. No, cool. I said, maybe I got away with it. Then she calls me. She's like, hey, apparently you hit my car, but I don't see anything on my car. Like, where? I said, well, girl, if you just check your passenger side, right at the top of the wheel, there should be a little scratch there. She goes, okay, I guess I'll check after work. Guys, never having a woman again. She never called me back. And I think for me, like in the moment, I can't, like, my friend wasn't there. I would think it would have taken me a lot longer to decide if I wanted to go. Because first of all, I didn't have a pen in my car, had no paper. I said, so what? Like, what we actually do? But obviously, so in fact, I think I found a pen at the bottom of my little console. We found a random receipt. I wrote her a note, and I felt so good about the decision after I'd made it because I was like, it's honestly very minor damage, but I would have felt so bad had I left that car like that. Like genuinely, I think that's something like, right, I would have felt really, really bad. Not bad because the repercussion is that I'm going to go to hell. Bad because I would have left a human being in a situation that maybe they were not able to handle, like as of right now. Do you know what I mean? So I think my morals are a lot less like, I mean, I've never, to be fair, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I've never really been scared of heaven or hell. I've always just been like, when I die, like, do you know what I mean? And the last thing I want to say is, once again, in the deconstruction kind of journey, I think my mind feels a lot more open, and I think I soothe in a very different way. Like if I'm ever worried about decision making, my future or whatever, like there are things that I find more tangible that I can root myself in. Like I genuinely believe that we don't live in America obviously, but if you work hard enough at something, you'll probably get somewhere.
We don't.
You don't. So like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you're gonna become a multimillionaire because of you did one thing. No, you're not. But like if I'm ever having career worries, I find that I can, like, I think it might have been Michael Jordan, but it might have been LeBron James, who said that they don't feel nervous when they play a game because they've practiced so much that mentally they're in that situation every single time. So I feel the same way about work now. It's like I should work hard enough that I can feel calm in the middle of a storm. So I don't soothe myself by being in a meeting where I know I haven't done anything and I'm just like, God is gonna provide because I haven't done freaking work and I know that. And I think once again it's like 50-50 in it. You have to believe in something. So I understand why people will be like, okay, God's gonna provide as long as you've done the work, because what's it that they said, faith without work is dead anyway, so do your revision. But on top of that, it's like I just don't hold on to that as much anymore, and I feel a lot more like, I don't say pride in myself, but I think when I make a decision now and I know that I feel like I made the right decision for me or the people around me or whatever, it's like just a nice feeling. And if there is an afterlife or whatever, I think that it is not as stringent as religion tells you it is. I think it's C.M. Lewis in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe or whatever, and essentially one of those characters, I was watching a video by like an ex-pastor or whatever, one of the characters dies or something like that, and essentially the conversation is like, I believe in the wrong God, like, so why are you now looking after me? And the godly figure character, whatever, maybe it was Aslan, that sounds like a familiar name.
Yeah, I was gonna say
was like it's not about whether or not you believed in the right God, it's about the fact that you believed in good and light, and I am good and light. So like you didn't need to take the right journey, the right path, whatever. Like you having enough faith in humanity, having hope, believing in goodness, believing in truth is what led you to me. So even when we talk about like Abrahamic religion, there are difference between this and that. Look, honestly, I don't believe everybody's counting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say it's just
no, I understand.
Because I
don't know. That was very roundabout, but I think that in like being willing to step away from the the Christianity title, which I never really felt tied to, I have been like a lot more able to explore like how I genuinely feel about like life and what life means in a very broad sense, but also in a very specific sense, and that's been very freeing. No, go ahead. But yeah. To sum it up, sorry, that was very long-winded, but there was a lot said. But I also try to avoid speaking about it because I do think sometimes religious people, in all capacities, can take offence when you speak on religion, and it doesn't matter how much you try not to be offensive. It means something to someone. Do you know what I mean? And I think that you have to appreciate. Like I've always said that when you argue with somebody, unless it really is a no-stakes argument for both of you, if somebody has an emotional investment or stake in the conversation, automatically it's going to mean more to them to win or to have a better outcome than it does to you. So like for me, as somebody who's not religious, I try to avoid engaging in conversation because if you are religious, it means more to you, and I can completely respect and appreciate that it does mean a lot to you, and I get it as well, by the way. It's not something that I don't understand. So I just rather not be like, this is my stance on it, I don't need because it feels, you know.
I was just going to say that I think what you said is kind of sad, just what you said now, just about the
discussion bit.
The discussion.
Yeah.
But I think hopefully, I think, you know, everyone in the world should move to a place where you should be able to engage in conversation.
Even if you disagree.
Even if you disagree. I think, you know, there's a difference between, like, intent sometimes, and I think even me, I'm trying to figure this out as well, because sometimes not everyone's attacking you. Sorry. By the way, Jesus doesn't need defenders. Sorry. Sorry, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's fine. But I think sometimes it's, for those who listen out there, I think you should be able to, even my words, conversation. You know, you should be able to engage in conversations, because I think it's even sad what you were saying about, like, people, even in the church, we were asking questions and they were saying basically, go and do your findings. Like, you get, it's not good, but yeah, that's what I was going to say. Please. Which
I agree with, by the way. Yeah, because like, I think I'm very lucky as well. What I will say is, if you are not religious, sometimes having conversations with people who you like grown up with and you know for a very long time can be very difficult to say like, I am not religious, only because not like, I think that's why it's sometimes the DR agnostic phrase even came around. Like, it can be hard because you're at risk of losing community. Like when I told my parents like I just won't be going to church anymore. Mind you, that happened because I had a situation which I've spoken about. Like, this man yelled at me. So I'm not coming back to this place. Like, I don't know what you think this is. And then I went to talk about on the pod. Eventually, I'll come and talk about it. But like, then over the past like year, I've had a lot of experiences which people might consider to be religious trauma. But I don't like to put it down to that, because I think that assumes that you're just talking from a place of hurt. You don't even really know, like, you're gonna find your way back eventually. I don't really like that aspect. But I think I had a lot of experiences with people who would like kind of weaponize religion, and I just thought, I don't know if I like that. Like, yeah, man, this is not really working for me. Do you know what I mean? But it was terrifying to potentially like lose people because you now say I have a different belief. And I think that to an extent, everybody who is religious understands being agnostic or an atheist, because you believe in your God, which means, and you actively don't believe in others, right? So it's not like you don't get it. You've just picked one, whereas somebody else might have just not picked one, or has chosen to believe that maybe there's some crossover. But I do think that there can be like a bit of a, like I said, like, I'm not gonna say Jesus doesn't need defenders, but I just think that there can be a bit of a like, I must fight for you to understand why I believe this thing. And like I said, because I have less of a stake in it, I would just rather not make you feel like I am persecuting you in any way, shape or form. Like, especially when we talk about self-soothing, because I don't want to put anybody into religious crisis. I don't want to now start saying things and people are now like, but I don't. I've had conversations like that where I've been like, I'm not the police. You said something to me, I responded to you, and now you don't have a rebuttal, and now it's giving I attack you. And I said, I didn't attack you. I thought we were having a great conversation, and it's not a great conversation anymore. So, yeah, I just want everyone to have peace in it, like,
you're gonna say
peace and love in any capacity. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay.
That's true. No, it was. I actually wanted to say
my part, then I'm gonna pass the baton on that. But I was gonna say, I agree with it's the same thing when I was prefacing this. In terms of my diagnosis, like, saying that I was autistic on the pod is also a big thing for me, because it's something I don't even disclose to people I really know, as well. It's the same way I feel about being agnostic or whatever. I'm just vibing at this point. Because like, it's the same stuff. Like, I can't, I think that...
I think of you. Just vibe.
Not just vibe, like, I don't know. I just don't like having conversations where I feel like people are not seeking to understand what I have to say. They're just seeking to fight or just hear their own, or like they feel triggered that I've said this thing, and then it makes them start to think about their whole life story, and it's like, no, but word to you, I'm not the police, guys. You've asked me a question, I've answered, and then it's like a whole fight on the autism part and on the Christianity part. Like those two things are things that I am not like. I don't outwardly engage in conversation in because I just don't find that it's worth the hassle. And I agree, because what I was going to say is when I was deconstructing, I remember seeing a rhetoric a lot of the times that really confused me, where people would say that, oh, if you've left the church or if you're not religious anymore, then you must basically be a liar. You were never religious in the first place. And it's like, first of all, how dare you say that to somebody? Like, how can you tell somebody something about themselves? And also, when you, I think also being Nigerian as well is also another aspect of culture and religion, but being Nigerian Christian, knowing that like a lot of people that I engage with are either like Christian or Muslim and things of like that, I'm going to make that connection with people. Like it can be very difficult, especially when all your friends are similar, like Abrahamic religions as well. It's difficult because it doesn't only feel like, and this is why I'm like, you guys, how can you tell someone that they're not, that they were faking, when it's like, when you decide to leave that, it's like you're leaving your whole community. Like to a degree, like certain things, like for me in my family has changed as well, like going to church like on Sundays, stuff we would do after church. Like the community aspect is something that like I'm kind of lacking now, and especially like speaking to my mum about it, like I still haven't really, like I told her like I don't go to church anymore, I'm going to church in like 2 years, and like I told her, yeah, like I'm not Christian. It took me a long time to get to that point because it just felt so like foreign in my mouth, especially like when I would speak to, sorry, I need to stop saying like I've made an active decision to improve my speaking, but when I speak to my family friend, and I told her, she told me, she invited me to some breakfast, I think, and I said, yeah, like I don't go to church anymore, I'm not a Christian, I'm not really, wow, I can't believe it, because my mom would do night vigils and yeah, mom loves the night vigil. She do like night vigil. She does like a lot of things Bible with the studies, youth in church, outside of church. And I was always like the poster child for her doing these things. I'd always attend, even when I didn't want to at times. But there was a time I was very passionate, very on fire for Christ. My mom would be showing me all these things, kind of guilting me, but that's another story for another day, of stuff that I would write about God. And like I'd find even now I'm still finding stuff when I was clearing out of me just kind of writing stuff to God and all these things. So it's just a lot. It's like literally leaving one part of you that you've had for, I've been religious more than I haven't been religious. Like that's been like 24 years of my life, I'd say fully, that I've said. I think this year specifically, I was like, yeah, not gonna lie, I can't call myself a Christian and be having these thoughts, because it doesn't make sense. Like even when I would go to church, I just feel like I'm doing a pantomime. And my mom would say to me all the time, actually come with me, come up. I don't want to be here. Like I can't, because if God knows my heart, he'll know that I'm not engaging with anything here. In fact, it was kind of becoming a bit triggering. That's also why I said, yeah, I'm not coming back to church. I've completely forgotten my point as to, that people don't listen to understand. A lot of the times it becomes kind of an argument. Any person that I've spoke to be honest, I remember I told my auntie, yeah, like, this is when I was still kind of debating things. Yeah, I don't know, like I'm in a bad place. She must have told me, no, you're not. Or no, you'll be fine. I said, okay, because you know me better than I know myself. Thank you so much. So I just find it I find it a very difficult conversation to have, because it always just ends up a fight. So yeah, that's my 2 pence.
I was going to say, hi, my name's Opa, I identify. I was going to say, I was going to say, that's what I was starting the sentence. I think I have a lot to say, because I've also gone through a deconstruction phase. Like I had a whole like Charles Sefira, because Charles Sefira, and I was just like, everything I believe in is wrong.
Not religious.
No, she's religious, but she presented me with this question, this idea, and then it led me into a spiral, and then I was just like, you know what? Pause on that. So then I started to like do my research into like Buddhism. I did Islam. I researched about New Age and all of these things. I was like, no, do you know what? I'm gonna find out the one true religion, because I need to find out for my own sake. And I was like, I'm not gonna go off emotion, because when I first became a Christian, it was a spiritual experience. So then that's what led me to my faith. I was like, okay, I don't want a spiritual experience. I needed to be fact, science, whatever. So then, why did I say whatever like that? Anyways, okay. So then I started to do my research. I recommend you guys. I always shout out this book, Case for Christ. It's a really good book, which is basically about a journalist. His wife became a Christian, and they used to be atheists together. And then he was like, "What do you mean you're a Christian? Like, that can never be so. Not in this household." So like, okay, I'm gonna do, because he's a journalist. He's like, I'm gonna research science-based about Christianity to prove to you that you're in the wrong religion. So then he started to look into archaeology, history, manuscripts, whatever, and came to the conclusion that Jesus Christ was real, rose from the dead, and all of that. And then that's how I became a Christian again. So I think when people say that Christianity is just it's just, because I know Simply Shy was saying like, oh, if for me to believe this, it needs to be facts. You know, with a lot of science and stuff like that, we have archaeological facts and stuff like that. Like, but it is out there, and I think the problem with the church is that we don't
have the facts.
We don't teach them. We just tell you, believe. But even when God was like, even when you look at the story of Christ and how he would move, like he would give them substance for them to believe in, and then they would hope in that and stuff like that. So, I think a misconception is that Christianity is just like this whimsical thing or this spiritual thing that people are just like, you know, acting up and stuff like that. But I think there is facts, there's history and there's stuff like that backs it up. That's my first point. And then in terms of the point about self-soothing, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think I agree, because I think it kind of dumbs down people's beliefs. It's just like, oh, you're just believing in this because like you haven't been enlightened to the reality of how doomed the world is. But I think what is harder to believe is that, oh, I serve a God who's good, but then there's bad in the world. And that, I think that is harder to believe in than to say like, do you know what, God doesn't exist. I feel like it's a bit easier to be like, God doesn't exist, than rather, oh, God exists and this is actually happening. So what does that say about God? And then that makes you question, is this God really a good God? And if you go through, because that's what happened with me, and like when I was going through a couple of like family stuff and personal stuff, it was just like, what's that challenge? What's that? It was a bit difficult for me because it was just like, I say God is good and I want to believe God is good, but my life right now doesn't say that God is good. So it was like making me question my belief. And I think another thing is like, you were saying like it's fake and God can see that it's fake. And I think it's important, like people doubted, like it's okay to doubt. And I feel like in the Christian space, they make it seem like if you doubt, no, it's not possible. You're faking like da. But like, even Elijah, he doubted. He was like, "Oh boy."
What was that guy? There was a guy that was like, "Oh, I swear, Jesus, if this is you, yeah, come back to me tomorrow. Yeah, come back to me."
Yeah, like Gideon. He was like, "If it's really you, I'm going to make this wet on a certain time." Like there were many men who doubted, and God was able to hold that, because if we believe that God is truly what he says he is, he's able to hold your emotions, he's able to hold your doubts, he's able to hold all of these things that, you know, that we think that I'm being fake. Like even sometimes, like when I'm pissed off at someone and I'm like, oh no, I want to pray about it, but I'm being fake. And then I have to think back, because like, if God created me and created my emotions and created everything, why do I think that he's then limited to and isn't able to hold that sort of emotion? So I think it's important. I think what the issue is that in the Christian space, they do not give a good safe space for people with their doubts, with their questions and stuff like that. A lot of the time it's like when you're younger, it's like, oh, if Adam and Eve were the only two people, like, in school they're telling me that the world was created a million years ago, but like that doesn't make sense, because we've been told about the creation story and stuff like that. Like there's actually lots of information out there that tells you like when science began, it was to prove God's existence. That's how science and the study of science began. So, but I think a lot of the time we think that these two are separate and they can't coexist. But a lot of the time, so I think, in my opinion, from what I see, it shows me that there is a God, there is a creator, and it's just like, wow, like there's someone, like the intrinsicness of things shows me that there's someone who created things. So I think from my own experience in this deconstruction, it's self-soothing to believe that there is no God, in my opinion, than there is no God, than there is a God, because it's more challenging to really experience, like, I'm in pain and you say you're a God, why are you not taking away this pain? In my opinion. Disagree.
Well, I don't want us to wrap around each other because we could be here for the rest of our life. I disagree because I think both are hard. Like, to go off what's actually happening in front of your very eyes, considering the fact that in this world, it's like so many people live so many different realities all at once.
Yeah.
I literally saw guys, you should be so proud of me. I have app block on my phone. Like, I haven't been on TikTok at all. I have 30 minutes spread across the social medias. Spread across the social medias. I didn't say at all, sorry. I mean limited. I have 30 minutes. Hey, can you see? What a monitoring spirit. But anyway.
That is very much present on
anyway,
that app
for 30 minutes across the social media apps.
You're doing a lot of work in the 5 minutes
yeah,
you
well,
give yourself.
I have 2 seconds. But anyway, I was watching this girl and she was saying something that I really agree with all the things that are happening, especially in Africa and stuff, that there is like a geographical lottery ticket where you're born predetermines the life that you will live. And some people, they can never escape where they live. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody can travel. Some passports are even limited to certain countries. So, do you know what I mean? So I think that both are challenging in their own way. Like, that's my final. I'm not going back and forth, but yeah, I just think that both of them are extremely challenging in their own way. And I think that I do agree with what you're saying. I think personally for me, a lot of the reasons why elders will tell you that, just vibe, or, when you're really tapped into God, he will reveal himself to you. That's always this thing, is like you'll have a revelation at some point. I think the honest truth from from watching myself is that the people that are telling you that you should vibe, they're also just vibing as well. Nobody actually specifically has the direct answer for the question that you may be asking. So a lot of the times I think that might be the case as to why it's like, we don't know either. So
yeah, and I think that's the problem though. Like, for example, like Kiki may come and ask me something and I'm just like, listen, I don't know the answer. We can go and look into it together.
That's what I think
that's the mistake a lot of people make. It's like,
but wait, that's what I was going to say. Okay. But then also, that's the thing though, because you know how, Maiwa, you said that you don't want to give anybody religious crisis, because there's also the fact that I feel like as well, by kind of entering that agnostic space, I feel like a lot of people have a lot of questions. A lot of people are on the edge of deconstructing or becoming atheists. But there's also there's a lot of fear. And that's why I'm saying that I don't believe that either or is more challenging, because like I said, for me on this side of things, like leaving everybody you know and everything you've known is like, and then there's also the
saying it's more challenging. I was saying that you know how you were saying
in terms of self-soothing. Yes, sorry.
I think it's the opposite way, in terms of it's more of a self-soothing to believe.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't think it's easier.
Sorry, the self-soothing aspect.
Self-soothing aspect. I think it's reversed. I think it's more self-soothing to
believe while everything is kind of going downhill.
Yeah.
I think she was going to say something. Yeah. Go.
Yeah, I was going to say. Sorry, because I was just listening to everyone. It was really like insightful. I feel like there was a lot of talk in terms of like not being that religious and then like always having questions and then leaving. I feel like for me, I would say I was like quite religious, like very Christian. Like I went to church, like go to youth group. I love spending time in the church. Like that was kind of like my family. And I think for me, what started, it's not that I don't necessarily believe in a God per se. I actually don't, well, we're still understanding, but I don't think there's like one true God, if that makes sense, or one true religion. I actually think we all, at the end of the day, are looking towards hope and looking towards something, and I feel like that manifests in different religions and in different aspects. I think they're just kind of like different names to it. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever it is, I feel like people are just hoping and looking to something, and there's that spiritual connection. So I feel like there's not necessarily one true religion, and I think when I started to not necessarily like be Christian or like kind of believe in Christianity as a religion was, I think it was like what's it called? Like you would say, oh yeah, I'm like, I study Bible, I do this, I'm a Christian, but you'd actually do the complete opposite, like in real life. Like, not, it's where people are just like, oh, when people think Christians are not automatically moral and right, like people, like, because I have God, I'm now a moral person. But for me, it's like, so you were mad, but now that you have a God, you're like, you're moral. But it's like the trueness of your heart is not moral. And I'm not saying people can't change and stuff like that, but I always find it interesting when it's like, because you found a religion, you are now a good person or you now have morals. But as a human, you don't necessarily have morals, because there are many people that aren't Christians that I would say like have good morals or go about things right and wrong and stuff like that. So I found that interesting, and I think it was the whole, like, for me personally, I couldn't say like I was following the Bible to a T, or like everything that God said I necessarily believed in. And for me, that I feel like that doesn't make me or qualify me as a Christian. And I would say other Christians, if you pick and choose certain parts of the Bible, that doesn't make you a Christian. But I think the religion and faith thing is where people try and separate themselves out and sometimes make themselves feel better for not actually following the word of God or the Bible. It's like, oh no, but it's a faith thing, it's a relationship and stuff like that. I'm always going to fall, I'm always going to do this, But for me, it's kind of like, okay, so what's the point then? Like, yes, you're always going to fall, stuff like that. But what, like, at some point, are you not going to fall? Actually try and follow the Bible, like properly, to a T. So for me, I was just like, I know there's certain things categorically in this book that I don't believe in. So therefore, I can't align myself with this, because I'd be fooling myself to say that I'm a Christian when I'm actually not going to do what's written in there for me to do. And I think if more people were honest with the fact that they actually don't do that, a lot more people would be open about not fully being Christian, but they kind of covering us, all right, there's faith, or like, it's my relationship, God knows my heart, etc., etc. And it was seeing people, like, when I was going through family stuff and everything, it was like seeing people in the church act completely opposite to what they preach every single day in the pulpit. It was like, so what I'm already questioning it, because I'm just like, I don't really do this, let alone the person who's meant to be leading us and Sunday service is not doing it. It was just all a bit just like self-righteous, all this kind of stuff, and it just didn't necessarily make sense to me. So that was kind of like my thing of like, oh, this is why I don't necessarily see myself as a Christian or religious. I'm more agnostic. But yeah, the faith and the religion thing always like baffled me, because it always just felt like you're trying to justify you not doing what's right by saying it's because you have a relationship. But like, you just are not doing what's pen and paper, what's on the thing, you're just not doing it, and it's okay. Like, just be honest with yourself.
Yeah. I have, no. But like I said, I'm not trying to send anybody's religious crisis. Because you said things, and I was like, I have points to make that do answer some of the things you're saying, but I just feel like it's one of those things that once you start, it's just like a lot to get into. However, I'll comment on what you said about God and science first, which is, I spoke about this time ago, but there's a creator called Kolechnikov, if you ever heard of her stuff, Kelechi, and ages ago she got cooked for saying that if you believe in God, then you believe in the intentionality of God, then that means that but you struggle to understand why things like tarot or astrology or like the year of the dragon, etc., can be a thing, then you might not really believe completely in the intentionality of God. And I thought about it, and one thing I'll say is people often use the argument of like, how can the Bible, which is meant to be, like, it's the Bible for a reason, right? When you say, oh, this word is Bible, use this as your Bible, it's meant to be like instructions. It's meant to tell you how to move through life, whether it's through stories, whether it's through anecdotes, whether you believe it's through, right? It's meant to provide instructions and guidance. In saying that, people will say, well, how come it was able to be weaponized by certain demographics, right? And I am of the belief that, okay, this is going to sound radical, but I need you lot to walk with me because there's a common belief or way of thinking, which is, if you look at the way the world is, God cannot be all three things at once, which is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-good. Now, once again, I'm not saying him as Rich Crisis. I'm not going to spend it too tough. All I'm saying is I understand the point that is being made, and I somewhat agree, because I personally think that anything that is meant to be Bible should be completely unable to be twisted. Now, I know people say the heart of man, people can weaponize anything. They use the example of what's dangerous, the gun or the person behind it, etc., etc. My only point is, and the way that I personally rationalize it is, and in the personal experiences that I myself have had, the way I've seen people use scripture against people, for me, tells me that there is an issue here. We can put it down to translation. We can put it down to there being 66 books now instead of the original 88. Shout out King James. Do whatever you want with that information. Mm-hmm. But I just think that, like Jimmy said, I believe that intent is very, very important. But I also believe messaging is almost equally as important. And I think that for me, like when it comes to religion, which is what we're discussing, by the way, like we can talk about faith, etc., but when it comes to religion, which is what I think a lot of people actually do take issue with, is what Christianity has somewhat become because of man and because of the heart of man, then that's something that should actually be discussed in and of itself. That's a whole other conversation. We can have a real conversation about why it is that things get lost in translation and why it is that books were removed and why it is that there are different versions of the Bible. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, anyway, sorry, my original point was, I think that I do believe that if there is a God, then we should also believe that if we believe that God is intentional, that astrology can maybe be a real thing, because why would your place of birth, date of birth...
It is a real thing.
This is what I'm saying. But a lot of people will disagree with you and they'll say, but that is demonic. And this is where now I have other qualms.
No, go on.
Oh, no. This is when I have other qualms, because I think that sometimes there is the idea that you find understanding with God, and there's the idea that if you don't understand, it's because it's demonic. And I struggle to see what the difference is. It may be this is so foreign to you, or like I said, I don't want to say anyone Rich Christ, right? Like,
well, yeah, but the thing is, people.
Wait. The more questions you ask, and the more you find out, sometimes you are very uncomfortable with the truth.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it can cause somebody to spiral and unravel everything that.
I think that's good.
Yeah, but then you're saying that it's good, but there's some people that are not gonna come back.
It's not. That's fine though. I think it's better to live to. What is better, to come to reality and face the coffee, or to pretend? Do you know what I'm saying? If someone, like, I strongly believe in certain things, and if someone can come to me and make me not believe that, then maybe I didn't really believe in that in the first place.
But see, that's
I disagree. That's what I literally said, that people are. That is what you just said. Basically, is what I told you that I don't agree with, because that's like you questioning. How can you say that?
Okay, that's true. That's true. But I'm saying, like, I think it's important that if someone is able to present to you something, also some information, even if it makes you ponder and look back and you do change your mind, so what? Because it's just like, then I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say, but I think it's a good thing to have these sort of conversations and to be like, okay, do you know what? I question it. Yeah, because I've questioned. There's many things I've questioned before, and I've deconstructed, constructed up again. Do you know what I'm saying? It's life. It's what you're gonna go through. There's many things that I used to believe and say I will never ever do, and we're here now. Yes. So like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good. It's part of life.
I think it's a good thing as well, because back when I used to live in Manchester, the people that were mainly around were Muslims, and one of the girls were she was a Christian and she turned Muslim, and that's killing me. Oh, sorry, she I don't know what shower. I don't know. Converted. She converted to Islam, and I think that time, because I was alone by myself for a long. I was basically alone by myself in Manchester, and that was kind of the things that were on my mind. So I think it kind of really enabled me to like go deeper into everything. Like, for example, because she mainly said, I don't want to put her business out there too much though. But she mainly said that a lot of the stuff in Islam is what she agreed with. That's what she felt. She felt herself more connected with that. And one of the things were obviously like the Bible has been changed bare times and all that jazz. So I think a lot of the times, that's why I think it's good to foster thought, like, and for people to actually maybe do go in spirals, but I just think when you go into that spiral, make sure you're doing your research in that spiral. I think.
And
I
not
think
also
it's
looking
good.
at biased information. Like for me, when I was going through my spiral phase and stuff like that, you know, I would look at because there's a lot of misinformation out there about what's his name. It starts with a C, and he was a Roman Empire.
I know you're talking about
Confucius.
No, the one that,
Oh,
the one that did the Christmas and everything.
I don't
Was
remember,
that
but there's a
sorry.
lot of misinformation that he changed the Bible and stuff like that. That is false.
Constantinople.
Whatever.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Guys, it's okay to go and learn about these things. There's actually people who dedicate their lives to go and do the research, and they produce it for you to read and stuff like that. So I think, what was my point? I think it's good to have these sort of debates. It wasn't be a Peruvian or
I think it's healthy.
It's healthy. That's literally what the Bible tells you to do.
Because there are times where like I haven't actually been to church in a long time, which is very bad. I can't lie. But because I think it's more like to foster that like people that are of the same mind as me, and their aim is to grow in Christ. So I think it's not good. I'm trying to sort that out, but I think when being around those I'll say being around the Muslims, God, sorry, being around those girls, basically it helped me like understand, you know, their point of view in a way, especially with the change and stuff and all of that jazz. And then was it the Ethiopian Bible, and then you get all this what Maya was saying is all in the Bible, like all this Greek methodology, whatever, is all there, like everything is there. And I think that's sometimes you don't really get to really delve deeper into what really interests you. Like I wasn't calling it sci-fi, babe, but like all this original stuff, that's the basis. That's the basis of the whole thing. But and the other thing I was gonna say is I think a lot of the times as well, people's stories that come from their experience. So, do you get what I'm saying? I think people's experience do you get? And I think sometimes a lot of the things I've seen as well is that a lot of the times everyone basically, I think you basically said that like the people that you thought had it in check didn't have it in check, basically. Like they were just giving, look at this guy. But sorry, that's funny. But I do want to say that I think that's when the whole like relationship,
your own personal relationship,
because if you look at other people, they will lead you astray.
But I
Wait,
feel
can I
like
say-
sorry.
Shay's been trying to speak for a minute.
I was gonna say I feel like the basis was actually when I looked at myself. Like it actually,
Okay.
like the other people were there, but it's like, sorry, me myself,
feeling
what
my
I'm being
total-
learned. It's like I'm not doing what they say I'm meant to be doing. Like I'll do something, and I was like, I'll feel bad because like the Bible says it would be bad.
Yeah,
when
because the Bible hadn't said it, I would have felt bad.
when I
Literally.
think about it, I'll be like,
I know.
no, actually, I love this shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
We're made to love it.
Like, yeah.
You're gonna love it.
So for me, it was just kind of like, look, I don't want to not do it. Like I don't want to read this thing and be like, I shall not do this. I don't know. So I'm like, there's no point. And the other question I was gonna say is, I feel like people say, maybe just assumption, but spirals are good if it leads you back to God. Spirals aren't
I
good
agree.
if you then leave completely. Because if I leave completely now in this religious, I'm going to hell. Like that's the basis of it. Like I'm now not part of this. Like, and if you're
if you don't believe it anyway, like
if you
not
don't
the
believe in
hell,
heaven, but do you get what I mean? Like if you're part of the religion, like ideally you'd want someone to spiral and then come back. When someone says they're spiraling, like I don't actually want to be part of this anymore, then I feel like it becomes a bigger question of, oh, but why? Like, no, let's try this, da 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 da. And I feel like, yes, people will agree that spiraling is good, questioning is good, but it's like, there's like a box of
How
where you can
far you
question.
can spiral,
Once you start to get out of that box, it's
yeah,
kind of just like, you're like lost. And, oh, sorry. I was going to say the other point, sorry, on like heaven and hell and stuff like that. I always find it so interesting I always find it so interesting, people's concept of heaven and hell, but like they're happy with the earth being like hell.
I was gonna say that.
Like life is actually shit because people do bad things, people encourage bad things, people go about doing things that only benefit them and aren't good for other people. When you talk about fast fashion and stuff like that, you look at the oceans of Ghana, they're sweeping up Primark. Is there there's not Primark in
because I would say I've definitely personally had more experience with Christians who are apathetic to what happens on earth as of right now, and I think that like when I've had these conversations, it's been like, look, yeah, it's bad, but when we get to heaven, when I get to heaven, and I'm like, heard. However,
what of
like
yeah.
even if it's like a charity begins at home sort of aspect, right? I'm not saying that you need to go over to Ghana and be working in the landfill. I'm just saying that like, sorry, but I'm just saying that like even at the moment, there's a baby on TikTok people calling churches and mosques and like all sorts of religious places. And only 2 of those churches. So she said, like she's on SNAP benefits. If you don't know, SNAP is essentially like UK benefits. So you can go and you can get like free foods, etc., etc. In America, they've reduced that because the government shut down. Like it's not a thing right now. So she was saying like calling. She had like a fake baby crying in the background. She was like, hey, like I really need food for my baby, and like is there any way you can help me? Like, please, can I get like a bottle of can of formula something? And like majority of the churches were just like, no. Or they said, unless you're a member of this church, we can't help you, or like we won't be able to help you. And I was like, that's really crappy. But then interestingly, like there were conversations or comments being like, it's so interesting because we talk about like the Christians are saying like, it's so interesting because we talk about going to heaven and life being great for heaven and all of us wanting to feed each other and build each other and all of us just being so happy. But like on earth, none of these people, like there were head pastors that were spoken to and none of them said, you know what, let me, like she said she's 10 minutes from church. None of them said, apart from like 2 churches and 1 mosque and a Buddhist temple. Anyway, majority of them were just like, we can't help you, or sorry, there's nothing we can do, nothing we wanted to do, And obviously this is not a one-size-fits-all. There are a lot of Christians who would have been willing to do something and able to do something, and a lot of churches that take the fact that they are seen as a charitable organisation very seriously.
That's why you don't pay tax.
That's why you don't pay tax. You're meant to be using that. You're a charity. Do you know what I mean? But in saying that, it's just like, I think for me, the apathy that I see a lot of Christians feel towards what happens on earth as well, I find quite sad. Like, I understand that you believe that your reward is in heaven. I understand that you believe that you tithe and you give back to your church through other methods. But I think that was also something I really like struggled with, is if we ever suggested like outreach that wasn't founded on missionary work or evangelism, it was just kind of like.
Yeah. So what you mean, you're gonna make your point?
Yeah.
Girl, do I remember?
Sorry.
Okay. What was I gonna say? You distracted me again. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think again it goes back to, that's why you just don't look at anybody, because nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Sorry. Okay, no. People start. I think everybody. I think everyone is trying to figure. I'll be honest. Everyone is figuring themselves out to the best of their ability. Some people, they're still skewed. They're hiding under religion or Christianity or Islam or whatever, and saying I'm a good person because of that. As I say, it's very, very. It's a very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to shout out. If any young people are listening out there, it's a very dangerous thing to base your religion on how you see somebody else move, because if they fall, you fall as well. So I think it's very, very. It's good to just focus on your focus. If like read the books, if you need to read stuff to better understand it. Yes, like I feel like what I've learned right now, a lot of people are if you are a more rational being, that you need more reasoning behind something, look towards that reasoning. You can like, don't be biased. Look towards it. Like that's what I say for me. I think that's why for me it's more like because I've seen
many things.
My life is a testimony to me.
Amen.
And there's a lot of things that that I have now that I don't, because I don't come from Lagos, I come from Ori, the squams of it all. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that I've seen in my eyes. I've seen the spiritual side. I've seen, people that want people.
Anyway, sorry, moving swiftly on.
A lot of the times, that's what I was saying before, like a lot of things that happen and a lot of spirals that happen, I think, are sometimes based on like what Ope was saying, like questions that can't be answered, and it's okay. I don't want to say it's okay. It's okay to still find doubt in what you're doing. And
you mean like without leaving and staying on, you can still find out.
I think
2 things can happen at the same time.
I think 2 things can coexist. Like at the end of the what's the word? You can still have doubt and still be where you are. Like you can still believe, or like, because at the end of the day,
I think it depends. Anyway, sorry.
To me, like Christianity, for example, is believing that all the shebang of Jesus, and he died. Let me respect my Lord.
Because all the shebang.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he lived, he died, he rose again on that day. And I think that is the basis of Christianity, just like believing that, okay, Jesus is Savior. And then obviously you use the Bible to kind of help you to tailor out how you're supposed to act and all that jazz. If you have doubts, if there's things you don't understand, I strongly believe you are allowed to not understand things. Like, and this is what I was saying before in the car, because before, if you know me, I'm a person that always likes to have a comeback for everything. But recently, that's what I was telling you guys on the drive here. Actually, like, I just came to a point where I don't actually have to know anything. So this is for me, because I felt like the more I was figuring things out, like the more I was searching deeper, the more I was how do I say this? Like,
the more you realize that there was a bigger gap. Is that
no,
what
it's just like
okay, that was
the more that I knew that I was becoming accountable for the knowledge I have.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to know
Everything.
if people are taking.
Anyway, sorry. Moving swiftly on. You don't need to know everything.
Well,
We need a PR
I think that
coach.
there's a healthy balance between understanding that you'll never understand everything, but also having rationale to back your beef. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think that's really.
I want to counter that.
Yeah, go on.
No, because if like round up those, so then.
She says, Madame said she had the point.
Oh,
Wait, no, wait.
No,
Because if you go, I'm not gonna.
Go on.
What I was going to say is, at the same time, I think that. Wait, what I wanted to say is, I think I have an interesting perspective where, for me, like when I deconstructed, this sounds so crazy. Maybe this is crazy to some, but I actually don't give a toss. I never did any like theology, like searching for this, searching for that, because that wasn't really my issue. It wasn't a thing of like. What Shia was saying, something about like truth claims, right? Like the Bible says these specific things, and there should be something to back those things, like whether it's records, whether it's whatever. And she was basically saying that essentially, again, go and watch it yourself. I'm paraphrasing, that the Bible, with a lot of science and the way trials are done, things are retested. That can't happen with the Bible. Something along those lines, right?
That's I don't think that's true.
Wait till it isn't me that said it. Or Shia that said it. But the thing is that it has never been my issue.
Okay.
Because when I speak to my mom, she'll be like, "No, but can you tell me?" That's not the issue. The issue and the reason why I hear what you're saying about God knowing your heart, but the reason why, like for me, Christianity doesn't merge well with me is because at its core, I do not believe in what the Bible says. That's, sorry. But like the things that the Bible says God is, I don't agree with. And it took me a long time to get there. But when I was thinking about like what I envision like a parent to be and the loving aspect and humans having alleged free will, I don't agree with any of it. Yeah. So yes, of course there is a way that you can search and still be on that path, but it depends what you're like what how do I say this, like what level do you say, okay, this like oil and water, we can't mix. Yeah. Like if you do not believe in the core principles of what something is, how can you call yourself that thing? That's issue.
That was my point I was raising earlier in terms of like.
No, say it because it's.
Oh, I was gonna say that's the point I was raising earlier in terms of like, it's because you don't believe in who God says. Like you say that if God is saying He's good, but then this is happening, then you can't be good. That is what I was saying about the soothing thing, and I was also say for me, even recently, I was just like, not gonna lie, God, like you say. You're like everyone says like you're a man that you will not lie, you never change, but this is what's happening right now. Like I don't believe you, and I'm struggling to believe that this is, you say you're this person, I'm struggling to believe that. I don't believe that you're this person. Like help me in my unbelief. And in that I was able to get, like literally that same day I was able to get my answer. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I didn't see it from that perspective. But I think it's also being honest and saying, I don't believe you're this, I don't believe you're that. But I think, do you know what I'm saying? I think it's okay to just not believe that this is, if God says, if you are going through something and you experience, what you're seeing in the Bible is contradictory to what you experience.
It's not. Also, are you saying in general?
Like in terms of His character, right? You're saying like you don't believe, you said in
no,
terms
but
of
it's
his
not because
paternal,
Anyway, like I said, we could go in loops. It's not because of my life experience.
No,
or
I'm not saying it's
anything.
your life experience. You
no,
said
no,
that you see how you imagine him as like in terms of a good person and paternal and stuff like that. You don't believe him as that, and I was like, it's okay to not believe that. That's basically what I'm saying.
Sorry, yeah, Maya, well, go on.
No, sorry, I'll keep it as brief as I can. It ties to both of your points, which is what I was going to say initially when you were speaking, which is that I completely agree with addressing the people who genuinely don't agree with the religion, because I think that we've spoken a lot about trying to find answers and really wanting to. There are people, like, I'm in the same position in terms of, like, you can disagree with this as much as you like, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of undertones of things like misogyny in the Bible. And
Man, this is my biggest issue.
and I know it's a very tough thing to speak about and address. And I know a lot of people who are, like, especially a lot of, like, more progressive women will say, but I had to listen to this bit. And that's you run your race, babe. I'm not coming for anybody. I'm just saying that I agree with what you're saying, that sometimes you have arguments that maybe you can find answers to and that can be researched, but sometimes you're going to do the research and you're still going to find the answer that is, no, this is what you are meant to and you are going to believe.
Yeah.
And like, I just wasn't comfortable with a lot of that, and I think that in this, and yeah, it just is what it is at the end of the day. And I think that, and like I said, I think like a lot more Christians will understand that. I speak about Christianity specifically because we all have experiences with it here, right? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
But a lot more Christians understand that than they think, because if you've ever looked into another religion, you have said, I don't like what's in the Quran. I do not like what is in the Torah. I do not like what is... So, and that is why you don't agree with it. Once again, I always say that, like, with religion, there's some of a lottery aspect there, in terms of some people are just picking the one that they think maybe has the greatest odds, that they align with the best, that works the best for them. There is a chance that you are also wrong. Hence the agnosticism, right? I'm not saying that anybody can ever confirm that they are right or wrong. I just sit with Christianity specifically, I just sit on the side of, I don't like what is said in this book. And I think as well, like, as somebody who, flog me if you like, I fall asleep to video essays about deconstruction, and from ex-priests and pastors, and from people who spend a lot of their time reading the Bible and actually trying to understand it, so that when they make arguments, they're coming from a place that is backed, not just from the Bible, but also like websites that will give you more sources within the Bible. So they don't just read one verse and they say this is it. No, they'll go and look into it further. And once again, I'm not saying anybody should go and follow my path. I'm saying if you're interested,
No, it's true. There's a good.
There's a woman on TikTok called Serafina Simone, and she has a great playlist. And as radical as it sounds, it's called "The Bible Doesn't Make Any Sense." Now, walk with me. She was raised as a pastor's child. She sang in choir and everything, and she knows that book back to front. It's like insane stuff. And she was just saying that the more...
Does she have locks?
No. I know who you're talking about though. The more...
I think there's one that has looks. I don't like her.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah,
That's what she does sometimes.
And that's another thing I was going to say. That I think
like,
that your
guys,
approach...
not that,
I think
she's
approach
just
is
insulting
everything.
people for no reason.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, I think your approach is everything. So I think I really, for the most part, like Serafina Simone's approach or whatever. And in the playlist, I think the reason I like it is because... That's what I'm saying. I think that the reason why I gravitate towards her content more than others maybe is because, one, she's a black woman. Sometimes you listen to white men deconstruction, you're like, easy for you, innit? Like,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But she has references and she has further knowledge, and she looks at somewhat other religions. Like, obviously Judaism is probably the best kind of comparable example, because they do use the Old Testament, and then they have pre-books. So like the story of Lilith is one that I'm actually very interested in. Things like that, right? So things like that I think are, if you are interested, worth actually like reading and knowing about, because I think it makes you more informed in the decision you're making. Like I said, I still sit on the fence of, there might be something, there might not be, but if I'm going to say that I don't agree with this thing, let me know why it even came about. Let me understand the inner workings of how this book came about, etc., etc. And she's really good at that. And like I said, I didn't want to get radical on here, because it does come across as rude sometimes, but like when she speaks about the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good aspect, I think a lot of things just came to light for me in terms of like, okay, fair, that is contradictory. And I think sometimes to be religious, and I mean this not in an offensive way, you have to be okay with contradiction to an extent. I'm comfortable with contradiction. I think that if you can't be somewhat of a hypocrite, then you're not really living life. You're going to do things sometimes that you just... You may not
because I literally said something like that today.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was
so you have to be kind of comfortable with hypocrisy and contradiction to any extent in life, because you are not a perfect being. You're going to do things that are contradictory and hypocritical. But... yeah, I just think that, it's not... I understand people who are not coming from the point of view of, I really want to try. Sometimes you're coming from the point of view of, no, I disagree. But still keep it respectful, don't it? Like, I believe in respect to everybody. Yeah, to an extent. Terms and conditions.
what was it? My always say walk with me. I think a lot of times people put
Am I iconic, guys? Like, sorry, I'm not even trying to.
Okay, I take it back.
Because you got a few names off.
No. What I'm gonna say, join me. You know.
She's trying to change it. But the thing is, it didn't work as well. I'll give you that much.
I think.
Walk with you was better, innit?
No,
Yeah,
join me on this adventure. People.
First it was peradventure, now it's adventure. Anyway, continue.
I think people sometimes hold Christians to too high esteem. In a sense where the world, when Jesus was also walking on the world, when Jesus was walking, the world was nonsense as well. No offense. Like I think sometimes when we're talking about the fast fashion and all this stuff, I think sometimes people are like, for example, why is all this stuff going on? And there's Christians about, you're supposed to do something. You're the ones that's supposed to do something. Why are you doing anything? You're sitting there on your couch doing nonsense. I just personally believe that.
No.
I want to say something about that point.
No, but I don't think that's what she was saying though.
I'm not talking
Oh,
about
you just talking
She
about
was
my
making
lawyer.
this is the point.
No,
She
okay.
wrote it in her notes. She couldn't remember.
I don't think you should wrap
Go
up.
on. Point.
No, wait, let's not let her.
It's actually okay.
No, because
No!
It's actually okay, Adam.
I was gonna say also, I think, for example, I don't like to tell people what I'm doing or like what I'm doing in my corner. So it may look to you like I'm not doing anything, or it may look on like, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry, my head is really hurting. It may look like, so we may look at Christians and say you're not doing anything, because they're not saying or posting or being vocal about, I'm doing this for this person, I'm doing this for this person, I'm doing this for this person, but like you don't know the impact that they're doing, because most.
I agree, but I was gonna say, when I said what I said from experience, I'm talking about people who are actively like, okay, but I'm praying. Okay, but I tithe. Okay, but do you know what I mean? I understand being quiet with charity as well. I don't think that everything you do that is charitable, you need to scream about, because then it becomes like a. Are you doing that? But I will say that, agreeing with your point, but also adding that, like, I don't think this is coming from nowhere. I think oftentimes, like I said, I know that sometimes in my church it will just be like, let's pray for and I'm like, they could do with a cheeky donation. Anybody interested? And they'll be like, we'll just pray. And I'm like,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, real, but do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah,
you
not
should do
but
both.
yes,
I think you should
yeah,
definitely
and
do
that's
both.
something that I can definitely agree with. Yeah,
But yeah, yeah.
Do you mean just
So was you actually have time? So you were saying that people hold Christians to a high regard. You're saying that.
In the sense of
Excuse
like,
me.
I think a lot of times people kind of think that, let me say, religious people have like the key to fix everything. I don't know the percentage of people that are religious and non-religious in the world. I don't know it, but I'm sure that if both sides moved,
She knows yourself.
At this point, maybe I should set
and
aside
up to
4
that
hour
point, but continue.
recording, because it's very. I told you it can loop. There's so many different.
guys, I need to leave in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes I just think that the world, like the basis of the Bible is like the world is fallen. Is sorry, it sucks. Like it says it there, like the world's not explicitly that the world sucks, but like the world is not what is whatever you think you want it to be. Like, it's like, I hope this is, I hope, and there could be a thing where like, if everybody chooses to do that, but it goes back to the thing, you don't even know what you're capable of until you're in the position to be capable of something.
I get what you mean.
You
Word.
know
That's
what
a
I'm saying?
word. That's a
You know
word.
what
That's a
I'm saying?
word.
So I think that
That's a
sometimes people
very
often-
golden word.
Often from where we are, we haven't gone high enough to see what's going on. We don't know chin. We're just going off our day to day, like saying, I wish this person would do this. The mayor that was elected, I hope that he makes a difference. We
don't know what you do if you were there. Yeah, exactly.
We don't know that if he's like passing 20. I don't know if Donald Trump has called him yet. It's like we don't know what you get. People are actually going through in that place of power. We don't know if people in places of power are even mad themselves. Shout out
Probably.
Michael. But
Michael
It's a joke.
being.
It's a joke.
I don't know who Mike
It's a joke.
is.
I'm not even. I'm
Yeah.
not.
It's actually a
I'm
joke.
not even.
It's
How was a
gonna
joke when no one
entertain.
understands it?
No, my one is actually on them. So.
I'm just not gonna go there.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think.
Elaborate for us.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so the joke didn't land. Finish, please.
Sorry, it landed to me. I was laughing. But yeah, what I was saying is that at the end of the day, when Jesus was walking on the earth itself, the earth was even mad. Talk less of people that are not Jesus that are walking on the earth. What do you bloody expect? And at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of times people hold. Let me try to fast now. People hold Christians to accounts to places that they can't even do themselves. I think that a lot of the times people say. Do you get what I'm saying? That people say like, oh, Christians are supposed to do this, Christians are supposed to do that. You don't even. If you had the platform, what would you do?
Yeah.
You would not do anything. Like, do you know what I'm
But
saying?
is it because
There's
Christians say that they
No,
put themselves on that?
Nobody, like, literally the whole basis of Christianity is I'm not perfect. I'm really nothing.
But you
And I'm
should
just,
be.
No.
No.
Look,
Sorry,
No.
no. Because I'm finished. Sorry.
Look.
Like the whole.
I just feel like there's a lot more. There's a lot of
I've never finished my
nuance.
point.
So let's just finish.
No, but this one it cannot be a nuance because it's literally like.
No,
the
as to
point
what
of
Shay was
Christianity.
saying as well.
Yeah, I get what
like
Shay's saying.
there's probably more to what she has to say as well.
I never finished.
Yeah, so I'm saying that. Hold.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
Finish. That's what I'm
I said
saying.
the whole point of Christianity is like, oh, you're imperfect and you're trying to. I don't want to say.
It took a perfect God to save you because you are imperfect. So then
Every day you're building. Every day you're forging.
Yes.
Every day. Every day.
Yes,
Every
yes.
day. Every day.
day.
You're gonna be going through a
You're gonna go through that.
It's renewal,
Yes.
sanctification of the mind. We know these things.
So it's kind of like what I was basically trying to say. Sorry. So my thought process sometimes takes quite a long time. Sorry, Maya, I know you have to go. But it's just more of a people hold Christians to accounts that they themselves will never push through with. Like they will never do it. So and I think that is kind of unfair, which is why I was trying to say like people expect so much from Christians sometimes when like they can't do it themselves. And a lot of people that aren't Christians tend to say that they're good people and they they don't need like this morality. I believe you can be a good person. That's not my But if you're also a good person, I think you should focus less on what other people are doing and focus on your focus. That's the true my quote for everything. Focus on your focus. Don't look at other people's relationship with God. Focus on your focus. Even if you're atheist or agnostic, focus on how you can be good in your community if you want to be anyway. Can look on me. But like, do you? As long as if I'm in your community, then think about it. But yeah.
And as usual,
Anyways,
we've
I'll
gone.
say
Yes,
to you.
it's
No,
time.
it's okay.
So she's
We've
on
gone
surface.
over.
Sorry,
No,
we have to
we've
bring
gone
up
over.
another time because
It's
there's no
not
way
gonna
everyone's
up.
gonna be able to speak.
Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
This guy's fighting through.
just-
I closed.
It's Friday, Abby.
We hope
Jameen,
you
you were the biggest
No,
advocate.
it's Saturday, please.
Can we?
Anyway, go
Because
Anyways, thank you so much for participating in this conversation. We
Wow,
hope you were really
participating
able to enlighten your mind. You know, everything is the grey area, even religion. But I know the true and one God. I'm joking, guys. I'm
she's not
joking.
joking.
You're not joking.
I'm not
That's
joking.
her
Yeah,
truth.
right.
Stand-
But
stand your
anyways, we love you all. You know, I would do a prayer for you, but I feel like that'll be awkward now. But anyways,
No,
we
it's
love
not
you
just
guys.
you.
God bless you. No, it's fine. I was just joking. Like my head is pounding. Love you guys. Bye. It's been your girl.
It's been your girl Shay.
It's Assy.
It's been your favorite live babe by your.
It's Jameen.
okay, yes, Jimmy.
And last but not least is Au Pair.
Bye guys. Thank you.